The room was polished silver and soft candlelight. Crystal glasses. Low music. Conversations stitched together like silk. Then one sound cut through it. A spoon. Tapping porcelain. Again. And again. At table 17 sat a man in a tailored charcoal suit. His right hand rested in a discreet brace. His left trembled, trying to lift the spoon. The soup rippled, never reaching his lips. His wheelchair gleamed beneath the linen. He stared at the bowl as if it were a mountain. No one moved. A couple glanced. A waiter paused. The manager looked away. Sophia saw it from the service station, just a flicker at first. The tiny shake. The long breath. The way he bit down on courage. She felt heat climb her throat. "I'll take table 17, she whispered to Emma. "Michael won't like it," Emma warned. Sophia swallowed. "It's not about him." She walked, each step slow, steady, respectful. She stopped at the edge of his world and lowered herself so her eyes met his. Warm hazel to steady gray. "Good evening," she said softly. "I'm Sophia. May I help?" A beat, a breath. His gaze flicked to his hand, then back to hers. He nodded once. "I'll follow your pace," she promised. "You lead." She tucked a napkin gently, like tucking courage around his shoulders. She lifted the spoon, waited for his nod, brought the rim close. The steam kissed his face. He closed his eyes. He tasted. When he opened them, there was light. Silence wrapped the table. Even the music felt quieter. A nearby couple blinked. Someone smiled. The manager, Michael, appeared at the corner, jaw tight. Sophia didn't look up. She helped again. Slow, careful, human. The man reached into his jacket with controlled effort and slid a small card onto the linen. Black, clean letters, Robert Hale. Sophia's heart stumbled. She had heard that name. He tapped the card twice. Then, with painstaking grace, he traced a line on the back with a pen. For words. She read them. Her throat tightened. Kindness changes the room. Another spoonful. Another breath. The room had already changed. Have you ever watched someone struggle in public and felt your own hands freeze? What if one small choice could rewrite an entire night, maybe an entire life? What happens next will test everyone in that room. Rain had folded the city into a hush that night. Outside, taxi lights smeared like watercolors. Inside, the restaurant glowed gold linen, glass, a soft sway of violins from the speakers. Sophia wiped her palms on her apron and felt the knot in her stomach pulse with the rent due on Friday. She'd picked up an extra shift. Her feet ached in a familiar, stubborn way. "Table 3 needs the sea base," Emma called from the pass. "Coming," Sophia said. "Heard anything from Evelyn?" Chef's on edge. VIP came in. Emma tilted her head toward table 17. "That one." Sophia followed the tilt. She saw him for the first time, the man in the wheelchair, the controlled breath, the spoon clinking the bowl like a small bell for help no one knew how to answer. Michael, the manager, slid past Sophia, cologne sharp as winter. "No mistakes tonight," he warned. "We're fully booked. Keep tables turning." "Sure," Sophia said. But her eyes were already drifting back. She watched the tremble, the way his jaw clenched, the way courage can look like staying put. The second tap of the spoon sounded louder. Not in volume, but in meaning. Sophia moved. She didn't rush. She approached as if she were entering sacred space. She bent to his level, introduced herself, asked permission. The man nodded, his eyes grateful and proud both at once. His hands, strong but betrayed by their own nerves, relaxed a fraction. "Would you like assistance with the soup?" she asked. "Yes," he said, voice rough at the edges but steady. "I'll follow you," she repeated. She lifted the spoon. The scent of roasted tomato and basil rose like a promise. She waited for his nod. He took the first mouthful. Relief flickered across his face like dawn behind clouds. She slowed her own breathing to match his. She let the world shrink to the small, human act of dignity. Spoon. Wait. Breathe. Conversations softened nearby. A couple holding hands looked up with gentle eyes. The hum of the air conditioner seemed to exhale. "Thank you," he said between breaths. "You're welcome," she answered. "Take your time." He slid the black card. Robert Hale. The name struck the air like a quiet thunder. Sophia knew it. The news articles. The foundation grants. The whispers about a health condition after an accident last year. A man with power, and a body he had to renegotiate with every day. He wrote on the back with patient, careful movements. "Kindness changes the room." Sophia looked up. In that moment, she saw more than a VIP. She saw a person telling the world, without a speech, what matters. "Is everything all right here?" Michael's voice arrived like a cold draft. "Yes," Sophia said, not breaking eye contact with Robert. Michael's smile didn't touch his eyes. "We don't do that." "Do what?" Sophia asked softly. "Feed customers," Michael said low. "It makes others uncomfortable. We're fine dining, not—" He stopped himself. Robert's gaze shifted to Michael, calm but steel-trimmed. He tapped the card with a finger. The tremor didn't hide the message. Sophia chose. "Sir," she said to Robert, "I'll stay as long as you want. Your pace." The room listened. Michael's jaw set. "In my office. Now." Sophia's heartbeat hammered. She turned to Robert. "I'll be right back." She took a step. Then a chair leg scraped behind her. Robert raised one trembling finger. The room held its breath. What is Robert about to reveal that will stop Michael and change Sophia's life? Robert's driver, John, appeared from the lobby like a steady pillar in a storm. Late 40s, kind eyes, a quiet suit. He placed a slim, black case on the table and opened it. Inside, a small speech assist tablet neat as a secret. Robert tapped slowly. Letters bloomed on the screen. A voice, smooth and measured, spoke for him. "I prefer independence," it said, "but I accept support on my terms." Michael's mouth opened, then shut, then opened again. "Sir, we have standards. We can." "Update your standards," the device replied, after Robert's precise taps. "Or I take my business and reputation elsewhere." The nearby tables turned into a hush you could hear. Sophia stood rooted, cheeks warm, pulse steadying. Michael glanced around, suddenly calculating the cost of being seen as cruel. "Of course, we value accessibility." The words tasted unfamiliar in his mouth. Robert tapped again. "Good. Then you will allow Sophia to continue, and you will authorize a private tasting for me, prepared by your head chef. Tonight." Sophia blinked. "A tasting? On my terms," the voice said. With Sophia present, Evelyn, the head chef, poked her head from the pass, curiosity bright in her eyes. She had a crown of gray curls and the hands of someone who understood fire and patience. "A tasting?" she repeated, stepping out. "I can do that." Michael's face twitched. "We are booked." Robert tapped. The voice, "Then unbook. Consider it a test." Evelyn's gaze slid to Sophia, soft with approval. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Sophia." "Good. Stay with him," Evelyn said. "I'll cook." Sophia looked at Robert. "May I know what you like?" Robert met her eyes. He typed, "Simple, honest, food that respects the person eating it." Sophia exhaled. "I can respect that." Emma brushed past, whispering, "You're brave." Sophia smiled without humor. "I'm just doing what I hope someone would do for me." Robert's eyes flickered, recognition, maybe gratitude. He typed again, "Tell me about you." Sophia hesitated, then spoke. "Double shifts. Saving. My grandma's home nurse comes 3 nights a week, but I cover most days. She taught me to cook with one hand when I sprained my wrist as a kid, said, 'You'll need to know how to adapt. Life won't always wait for 2 hands." Robert's expression softened. He typed, "Smart woman." "She is," Sophia said. "She would like you." John set a glass of water near Robert's hand. The billionaire's fingers tapped the rim, carefully. "Michael," the speech device said, "you will fetch your accessibility policy. We will review it." "Now." Michael swallowed. "We Don't have a formal document. Robert's eyebrow rose, a small storm cloud. Then tonight is your chance to write one. The door to the kitchen swung. Aromas unfurled. Lemon zest, garlic opening in hot oil, rosemary bruised under the flat of a knife. Evelyn was composing honesty on plates. Sophia adjusted the spoon again, waiting for Robert's nod, aligning her timing to his pace. The restaurant's pace shifted with them. Slower, truer. He slid the card back toward her. On the blank side, he wrote 3 careful words. Meet after close. Sophia's breath caught. She nodded once, and then she felt it, that prickle between the shoulder blades. She turned. Michael stood by the host stand, phone to his ear, voice low. His eyes cut like glass. Emma whispered, pale. He's calling corporate. What will happen when corporate hears a complaint? And whose side will they take when Robert reveals who he really is? Midnight pinned the city to a deep blue hush. Chairs were flipped onto tables. The bar lights dimmed to a gentle glow. The dining room was a sleeping stage. Only table 17 remained set. A candle, a carafe of water, a small bouquet that suddenly felt like a promise. Emma hugged Sophia at the door. If you need me, call. I will, Sophia said. Her hands were shaking now that the rush had slowed. Not from fear, from the weight of what the night had become. John wheeled Robert back to table 17. He wore a different jacket now, darker, rain-stitched at the shoulders. The black case rested beside the candle. Sophia approached. Thank you for trusting me. Robert typed. Thank you for treating me as a person, not a project. She smiled, small and true. What happens now? He tapped more letters. The device replied, we talk business. And we talk about the thing that matters more than business. Sophia tilted her head. What's that? Dignity, the device said. The kitchen door creaked. Evelyn emerged with a slate-board thin slices of lemon-poached halibut, a warm salad of charred carrots and sesame, risotto loosened with broth to a velvety whisper. Steam ribboned into the room. I sent the staff home with dessert, Evelyn said, setting the board down. But I stayed for this. May I join for 10 minutes? Please, Robert's device answered. Evelyn folded her hands. I saw what happened. This industry treats speed like a god. We forget the table is a place to be human. We can fix that. Robert typed. I intend to. He turned the tablet slightly toward Sophia. New words appeared. I own a controlling stake in the company that owns this restaurant. I am here because I received letters, anonymous, from staff and guests. Stories about how disability was handled, or not handled. Sophia's mouth parted. You were testing us. Robert nodded, eyes apologetic but firm. I was testing the system. Evelyn whistled softly. Then the system just met its exam. Sophia swallowed. And me? Where do I fit? Robert typed. You demonstrated what policy cannot teach. Humility with a spine. I need that. He slid a folder from John's case. Inside, a proposal letter with a bold header, Project Quiet Hands. A program to redesign dining experiences for people with limited mobility, sensory differences, and chronic conditions. Training, tools, culture. He typed. I want you to lead the pilot in 3 locations. Paid role. Flexible hours. Sophia's heartbeat launched. I serve tables. You lead people by how you serve, the device said. I'll provide training, a mentor, a stipend for your grandmother's care. Tears stung Sophia's eyes. Why me? Robert's eyes held hers steadily. He typed slower, as if each letter were a vow. Because you didn't solve me. You saw me. The front door clicked. Michael stepped in, lips thin, tie loosened. Corporate is aware, he announced, attempting confidence. They'll handle whatever this is. Robert's gaze sharpened. He typed. The device spoke, cool as rain on steel. I am corporate. Michael laughed, a brittle sound. Right? John handed him a card. Michael read. The color drained from his face. Mr. Hale, he breathed. Please sit, the device said. We have work to do. Will Robert keep this conversation private? Or make a public stand that puts Michael and the entire restaurant under the brightest light? Morning arrived like a clear bell. News traveled faster than coffee in a newsroom. A post appeared online. A blurry photo of Sophia helping Robert with that first spoonful. It wasn't sensational. It was tender. It went everywhere. By noon, a small crowd gathered outside. Some came curious. Some came angry. Some came hopeful. Inside, the staff clustered near the bar, faces tight. Emma stood next to Sophia like a lighthouse. Evelyn wiped her hands on her apron and murmured, "If we do this, we do it right." Michael paced. "This is a PR nightmare," he hissed. "We can't." The front door opened. John rolled Robert in, calm as a metronome. Cameras didn't flash. He had asked they not be invited. But people came anyway. Stories go where they want. Robert tapped the tablet. "I only called one journalist," the device said, voice filling the room with a measured gravity. "Someone known for listening." Sophia's pulse skittered. She glanced at Robert and found steadiness in his eyes. The journalist. Evelyn recognized her, a woman with a notebook and careful shoes, stood quietly by the host's stand. "We can speak off record," she offered. Robert typed, "No. On the record. People need to see the standard we will set." Michael lifted his chin. "We can issue a statement about training." "Stop." The device cut cleanly. "This is not about a statement. This is about a standard." He turned to Sophia. "Please stand with me." Sophia stepped forward. Her hands trembled. She let them. Robert tapped. The device spoke to the room. "Last night I was offered dignity at my pace. That is the standard. Today we commit to practices that make it normal." He listed them, each word a brick laid into a foundation. Adaptive utensils available at every station. Staff trained to ask permission and follow the guest's lead. Table heights varied. Quiet corners for sensory breaks. Menus with large print. A culture where help is offered and refusal is respected. Evelyn nodded, tears bright. In the kitchen, plates that are easy to navigate. Portions arranged with purpose. Textures that cooperate with tremors. Food that respects the body it meets. Michael tried to speak again, but the room had already moved past him. Robert continued. "Effective immediately, Sophia will serve as interim accessibility lead for our pilot. Evelyn will advise." Sophia blinked. "Interim? Until you accept the permanent role." The device added, a hint of warmth. The room hummed. Hope has a sound when people recognize it. Michael sputtered. "You can't fire me in front of." "I haven't," the device said. "But you will attend training. You will apologize to staff and guests you dismissed. If you refuse, we part ways." Michael's jaw worked. Pride battled self-preservation. The outcome wasn't clear. Outside, the crowd shifted. A boy in a wheelchair peered through the glass, eyes wide. His mother lifted a hand. Sophia lifted hers back. The boy smiled, small and fierce. Robert's hand trembled. The spoon in front of him trembled, too. He attempted a bite himself. The soup wobbled. He paused, closed his eyes. The room did not pity. It waited. Sophia stepped closer. "Do you want a hand?" He opened his eyes. "Yes," he said, voice raw but strong. They did it together. Spoon. Breath. Yes. And then Robert's breath hitched. Not emotion, pain. His face tightened. A flush climbed his neck. "John," Sophia whispered. John was already there. "Medication?" Robert grimaced. The tremor sharpened. Will this moment, the most public one yet, break Robert's resolve, or reveal the truest strength in the room? Time thinned. Sound folded. The world became the square foot of table where the spoon rested. Sophia lowered her voice. "Robert, I'm here. Breathe with me." She modeled it. Slow in, slow out, hand open, palm steady as a metronome. In 2-3. Out 2-3. John pressed a small pill into Robert's palm, guided water to his lips. Robert swallowed, jaw tight. A minute stretched like taffy. The journalist set her pen down. The staff around the bar stood still. The boy outside leaned forward, cheek against the glass. The tremor ebbed, not gone, but softened. Robert released a breath like a held tide let go. Sophia didn't rush to win the moment. She let it be. She waited for his nod. He gave it. She lifted the spoon again. Tiny ceremony, honest as a prayer. He took a bite. Another. The room exhaled. The journalist's voice was gentle. "What do you want people to learn today?" Robert tapped. The device spoke. "That strength is not the absence of help. It's knowing when to ask and how to offer." Evelyn stepped forward with a small tray. "We made something with Sophia's note," she said, eyes crinkling. On the tray, a set of adaptive utensils, matte and weighted, elegant without fuss. A plate with a subtle ridge, painted like a quiet horizon. Not medical, beautiful. Robert's eyes shone. He lifted one of the utensils, testing its balance. "Perfect," he whispered, his own voice carrying like a vow. Michael stood rigid. Then something cracked. He stepped closer, swallowing hard. "Mr. Hale, I've run this place like time is money," he said. Each word scraped raw. "I forgot time is people." He turned to Sophia. "I'm sorry. I was wrong." Sophia studied him. "Will you learn?" Michael nodded. "Teach me." The crowd outside started clapping. Not loud, but real. The boy's mother wiped her eyes. The boy tapped the glass with 2 fingers. A hello only courage understands. Robert turned to Sophia. He typed, "Permanent role. Director of Project Quiet Hands. Build the team. Start here." Sophia laughed. A bright, shaky sound. "I'm not a director," she said. Tears sliding, messy and honest. "You are now," the device replied. Emma squealed and hugged her. Evelyn wiped her eyes. John smiled like he'd known all along. The journalist lifted her pen again. "One last question," she said. "Why call it Quiet Hands?" Robert typed, then stopped, then typed with a careful grace. The device spoke softly. "Because hands don't have to be still to be gentle. Sometimes they tremble. Sometimes they lift. Sometimes they wait. The quiet part is what happens in the room, when we make space for one another." Sophia looked around. The room had changed, chairs, light, faces, all the same and not the same at all. She glanced at Robert. "Hungry for the risotto?" He smiled. "Starving." They ate. Not quickly, not slowly, just at the pace of truth. By evening, new signs appeared discreetly near the host's stand. Ask first. Follow their lead. Adaptive tools available, just ask. Quiet corner upon request. Dignity is our dress code. Sophia stood outside later, apron off, face to the wind. The city smelled like rain and fresh bread. A message buzzed her phone. Unknown number. "John, he said you made the room brighter." Sophia typed back. "He made it possible." She slipped the phone into her pocket and looked up at the windows glowing like lanterns. She thought of her grandmother's one-handed cooking lesson, of the spoon that stopped the room, of the boy at the window. What would happen if every room learned this? When you see someone struggling in public, do you wait for permission to help? Or do you walk away? What's one small, respectful action you could take today that might change the whole room?